And that's it. It's screwed. Hey everyone, my name's Igor, Gravity Grover Channel. Today we'll have a simple little video about a machine, the compact version. I'll say right away, I don't like them because actually I like them because they're compact. You can make it powerful, Mir. They stuffed everything necessary inside there. Again, focal length adjustment along the Z-axis. There's a motor, not a stepper motor, right? Though I might be wrong. I'm telling you now, I can't see what equipment is in there. Whatever. Okay. License controller. Why? I don't know. Because I'll explain from the other side. We'll have a Raycus version 50QS in there. A stripped down version. Which, well, is considered one of the cheapest. There's also a driver. The rotary axis driver is right here. And we have control over our Z-axis motor. Limit switches on the Z-axis. The collimator box is practically non-existent here. So there's the collimator mount and the galvo scanner mount. And the Z-axis lift goes up and down along the rods. There are two limit switches. One's at the bottom, the other's at the top. Everything here is as simple as it gets, at least. On the other side, we have this source unit. This source is specifically the Raycus version 50QS. This is one of the cheap machines. Well, one of the cheap sources. All the power supply units needed to run this machine are at the bottom. There's a ton of space there, of course. You could even put the source inside the bottom part if you wanted. But again, I repeat, if you wanted to. Plus, the cooling system is right here in this upper block, meaning the air exhaust. That's why they install the sources specifically in this block. Maintenance is easier, and consequently, controlling such a source is easier. Again, I repeat, 50QS source, 300 by 300 lens. I don't know, of course, how this will work with a 300 by 300 work area. I can't even imagine. The handle's currently attached to the back because we don't need it here for shipping. It'll be moved to the outside later, or it's installed on the outside upon receiving the device. Or, let's say, during unboxing, if the factory does it, though that's unlikely. So, next, the rotary axis connector. That's another small plus. And look at this detail here. The controller sets the exact start and end of the engraving, meaning signal output from the BJJCZ version 4 controller, licensed, I repeat once more. Regarding the work area, I don't know who plans to work with the 300 by 300 lens here. Let's grab a ruler now and I'll just show you with the ruler. A 30 centimeter ruler. Look, I'm placing the ruler logically. The 300 by 300 field already goes beyond the limits, but the galvo head is... Again, there's a cheap galvo head here, the Galvo Scanner RS1001. The center of this head lands somewhere around 11 to 12 centimeters. So putting a 300 by 300 work area here means, well, you won't be able to use the whole field. I don't know why this is done, of course. Who knows, though you can basically work like this. Right, and accordingly, the use of the rotary axis directly here. You can put it inside, a lens for rings will be used here. The main one will have a 100 by 100 work area. The exhaust is located at the top, but again, I'll say right away that in these cases, it's better to connect small pipes and direct the exhaust itself into the engraving zone. Then it'll work more or less comfortably. A downside of this machine, I'll say right away, a downside is the reduced working area, meaning the working field is limited, because you can't set up a rotary axis on the y-axis here, though a feed on the x-axis or an x-axis feed on the y-axis will work. But also, look, once again, on one side we have a bit more space, and on the other side we have a bit less space. So you'll have to maneuver in a very tight space in that regard. On the plus side, a huge plus, let's put away the ruler and close it. This is a fully enclosed housing. Set the engraving, closed it, forgot it, and walked away. So in this regard, there are, of course, undoubtedly some pros. Next, equipment control, that is up and down control, switch control, galvanometer, accordingly, and the laser. It's all the same. I don't know what this one's for. Either it's for the rotary axis or it's for the movement. Most likely it's for the Z-axis movement up and down and the speed of that movement. We'll test it all out and see how it all looks. Yes, the bottom panel, as I said, is responsible specifically for the speed of the servo, or the motor that moves the Z-axis for us. Set it to the max. Movement happens as fast as possible. Well, not exactly snappy, but more or less, it's enough. If we set it accordingly to the middle position, then it will move a little bit slower. About twice as slow. Well, if we set it to the lowest position, then the movement will be about 10 times slower than it was in the normal position. Let's take a look inside the housing now. And again, a plus for this little machine. What I like about them is the easy access to almost all its parts, the source installation, power supplies, controller, and everything else. Okay, minimum position. Motor rotation, it practically doesn't happen here. One more time, like this. Actually, barely. We can turn it up, crank it up on the fly, and the rotation of our screw part will accelerate. Same thing in the opposite direction. No problem. That's at the maximums. And the same story if we set the value to the middle and start turning it to the lower part. Rotation slows down to an indecent speed. Let's do it like this now. A little bit more like this. So yeah, cool, but again, it's electronics, which are prone to breakdowns. I'll repeat it once more. I don't like, unfortunately, automatic Z-axes. I don't like automated Z-axes. I don't like them with an electric drive. I don't like them, well, because they sometimes break, and at the most critical moment, you don't have equipment that can engrave your products at the right focal distance. You have to suffer a lot in some way. Well, and actually, with acceleration, we get acceleration. Heh. Yeah, turns out you can't figure this out without engineers. So there's also some version 2.15.3. No idea what that is or what it's all about. We're not interested in the Lang folder here. The main thing is that English and Japan are here. Basically, let's just drop the Russian language pack in there and keep launching it. Unfortunately, yeah, this specific version only works for these controllers. As it turns out, there's not much info here in the plug folder, but it's there. So launching, everything's the same, exactly as before. Now we'll do the first restart. Specifically, by the way, I should right click and run it as administrator. I'm probably gonna catch some Chinese viruses here. Why won't it work? Here's the situation. We've got the gear, everything seems ready, but it won't do a damn thing. The drivers seem to be installed, everything's fine. I've got a feeling I just picked up some high quality virus. Once again, right clicking and running as admin isn't doing anything for us either. Yeah, it's a stalemate. I need to film a video and test the machine. And so, once again, we're stuck on the launching issue. The antivirus shredded everything it could here, so it's not working. Okay, let's go to File, System Parameters, and the System Parameters. Again, I'm doing this for you. I don't see the point for myself. Let's set it to Russian and restart it again. People often order equipment from all sorts of places, countries, and cities. Different people ask me to check it out, test it, and make a video about their machine. We had the same story with the 3D glass machine and the GPT machines, version EE2. And it's going to be the same story here. Let's look at the technical data and starting grading. For example, this is exactly the kind of situation that makes me start swearing really loudly. This is a technical spec sheet. It's from the Rakes company. Everything here is handwritten like this by a Chinese guy. RFL-P50QS. Not QB, I'm telling you right now, not just Q, but specifically QS. Surprisingly, the frequency range here is also written, damn it, by hand. Kilohertz, if I'm not mistaken. It says 50 to 100 here. But then again, it's highly questionable because the number 50 is written like my younger son in kindergarten wrote it, not my older son. Though I think even he would write it straighter and neater. Power is 53.4, kilohertz is clear, power adjustment seems clear enough too. This series isn't MOPA, it's just a general sheet where they check boxes, scribble, write, and don't do a damn thing. By the way, they used to have tables for all the sources printed on the back of these papers, but I guess they stopped doing that to save on printing costs, since you all want things cheaper. So they make the equipment cheaper for you, so you can afford to buy it, as they say. Let's go. Let's find the focal length. Starting F1 now. finding the engraving area, press it F2, and starting to lower it down, setting it to maximum speed accordingly. Gentle head movement. Repeating the process now, just as before. Power levels are currently at 15% and holding steady. That's all pretty sad. It says the pulse duration is 143 nanoseconds, but I suspect that's all total bullshit. Complete bullshit. And it often surprises me when people say, like, tell us more about what we're overpaying for when we buy the GPT-50LP or the GPT-60M7. You're not overpaying, you're paying for the equipment. You need to understand that clearly. With these parameters, speed 100, power 15%, frequency 50 kilohertz. Ideally, it should have been engraved, but very brightly and vividly. Nothing's happening here at all. It's not even sparking. On the 50LP series, there would definitely be sparking. On the 30LP series, there would be sparking. Nothing's happening here at all. Stopping the process. It's turning into some kind of weird black gloss. There's a bit of a plus here because the pulse duration is very short. Because of that, we get minimal metal destruction. We get the metal heating up and consequently oxidation in the air. We're working with stainless steel here. The next point I always make. Set the focal length yourself. Put marks on your Galvo scanner. It says 163 millimeters here. I'm setting the ruler to 165 millimeters. I'm setting the ruler and the distance here is 163.5. No one is going to specify 163.5 or exactly 163. They'll just give you a rough estimate. So always adjust the focal length yourself. That's my advice. Please give it a thumbs up. It's not hard for you, and I'd appreciate it. So, moving on. So far, I'm not impressed with this source. Yeah, let's do two tests. Let's do a photo engraving cast. I know photo engraving turns out well on these machines. Again, regarding color engraving, if you're interested, give it a thumbs up. I'll make a detailed video, explain how it's all done and what it looks like. I'll give you all the parameters, just like you want. You want more parameters, naturally. There. And let's move on to photo engraving. Putting our piece of metal in. Notice that it's glowing very brightly even now. I can clearly see it with my own eyes. It's glowing very brightly in green and blue. Very cool. So, we set up our ruler, looking for 163.5 respectively. Everything's going smoothly. Good, I like it. I'm loving this. There are pros in this regard, but that's probably where the pros end, because it has a crappy source and a crappy Galvo scanner. No offense, it's just my opinion. If, again, you're short on cash, you can buy it. You can buy it just to get by in this world. If you have the money, why buy this piece of crap and say the factory told you it's the best modern equipment? No, damn it, absolutely not. The casing? Yeah, I like it. No issues with the casing, but everything else is a big, big question mark. Photo engraving is, in theory, pretty good. I forgot to make a backing, so let's try to light it with a flashlight from another side, from a point where it'll all look better. You definitely need to do matting, but here it works out quite well, even on the F163 lens. So everything looks clear, as saturated as possible. Yeah, it lacked light from a certain side to make it all look really cool. But still, it turned out quite well. Just so you know, it's a black glossy engraving. The goal wasn't to make it black matte or anything like that. Okay, well, let's do one more thing. This is a deep engraving of the material, but there's a catch right away. First, we have no Q-pulse control. Second point is, the duration of this Q-pulse is 143 nanoseconds when operating in nominal frequency ranges. Let's burn it. Well, let's do, say, 20 passes. Let's do the final result, where all this leaves us. I'll do it right here on the edge. Main thing is not to burn the table, because they'll definitely chew me out for it. There are no more tables like this in stock. They'll absolutely eat me alive for it. Well, let's go. I couldn't get it started. Don't know why. Honestly, I don't work with sources like these. With them, well, let's just say getting any acceptable final result is impossible. It's all very frustrating. So we work with good ones, of course. When you buy a cheap machine, damn it, you have to understand that jumping through hoops will be your life until that machine's dying day. Let's try starting again, F2. And it's screwed. I don't know what the deal is. The source cuts out in the very first seconds. Let's set the power to about 50%. Frequency 60 kilohertz. F2 again. The reason is inexplicable, but I clearly see that the laser reaches the zone where it needs to jump over. And it just can't handle that here. It's likely communicating directly with the controller, most probably. Now we'll change the fill method to bidirectional. With interruptions, accordingly, we'll lose some engraving quality, but we'll eliminate this whole jumping and transition switching during the engraving process. Okay, change it. Pressing F2 again. See? Yeah, it works now, but to put it politely, you'd have to screw around a lot to set up start TC, laser off, and anti-TC. I'm definitely not doing that. Let's go back to the original bidirectional continuous mode. Let's try F2 again. And that's it. It's screwed. It's a piece of junk, honestly. I'm not even going to trust it further. I don't want to, really. Well, I feel like this is just a mockery of my time, honestly. I know I'm swearing now, but it's because the housing is decent, the build is okay, everything seems fine, but they've installed this cheap piece of crap Galvo scanner, the RS1001, just because the customer requested it. Most of you prefer it because of the low price, and you don't give a damn about anything else, obviously. That's the first point. The second point is the controller. It's got a cheap licensed controller. We don't use those. I don't want to install them. Damn it, I'm not going down that road. I don't want to deal with the headache of why it works one way and not the other, just because you want to buy something on the cheap. It's that same old story of wanting the cheapest option. So why the hell am I paying more? So you don't have to struggle with the machine leader. Next, the source operates in limited frequency ranges and has a limited pulse duration. Basically, all of his combined is total garbage. Even though I really want an enclosed machine like this for myself, so that when it's running and rattling away, I don't hear or see anything, and just check the screen occasionally. The equipment is actually quite interesting in that regard. The light shows the start and the end. That's all right here. So I'll say it again. You can buy these machines. I'll leave links in the description. There's a link for cheap ones and the link for good ones. Please, if you're looking for quality, don't buy the cheap ones and then complain that you're overpaying for something. I'll repeat, you're paying for equipment that actually works. That's it, guys. As always, give me a thumbs up and I'll keep sharing info on what's worth buying and what's not. Best of luck to everyone, and bye-bye.